Hey, Chris. All right, everybody, thanks for coming today. Coach, we'll just start with your opening thoughts. First, before we go, actually, that was the 600th win in Montana history. Only with 22nd FCS team in the country to accumulate 600 wins. So, Coach, your opening thoughts about the win?
Yeah, certainly to beat the team that played in the national championship game last year is a great win for us. I'm proud of our guys for their effort and how they approached the game coming off a loss and how they finished it, frankly. Aaron Best had his team ready to go. They came after us the first half, and that was tough. We were down, and we had to fight our way back, and I really like our football team's ability to do that. I think we're a second half team. I think we're a fourth quarter team, which is where we want to be playing our best on any given Saturday, and today that's what it was. So happy for our guys and happy for the University of Montana to have 600 wins now.
Bobby said on Monday he thought the team that ran the ball better and stopped the run better would win the game, and you guys certainly did that today. So just controlling the line of scrimmage on both sides, how important is that?
Yeah, kind of, I guess you'd say as predicted maybe. It's nice to be right once in a while. But yeah, that's good hard-nosed football. It looked like late fall in the Northern Rockies out there early in the game, and you've got to be able to run the ball here. You're not going to win late in the season, and you got to be able to stop it because the other team's trying to do it. Certainly, we did a good job on both sides of that equation. Really like how our defense swarmed to the ball, and really liked how our offense did the same.
You guys' run game seemed to get stronger as the game went on. What was the key to that, and how happy does that make you when you can't finish strong like that?
Well, I think that's what a team that runs the ball well, if we can stick with it, then that's the way it's going to be. And you can wear on the other side a little bit if you're persistent and have the ability to do that. Now, in order to do it, you have to be able to generate first downs and be good enough to continue on with it and be in the game, and a lot of things dictate how much you can do, and today that's how it played out. And our guys, it was fun to watch our big guys lean on them.
Cam, your number was called today at starting quarterback. Just what was your thoughts kind of this week, knowing that could happen, and how did you feel about today's performance?
Going into last week, I was kind of aware of the situation. I knew the team was going to rally around me. The defense was going to step up, and they did. The old linemen played a hell of a game, and we have a pretty good running back behind us too, so it made it easy for me.
Marcus, can you talk about the rushing attack and the way you guys were able to sort of gain steam as the game went on?
Yeah, it was a big emphasis all week. As a running back, you're always excited when you're told that you're going to be able to run the ball, and the whole O-line very excited. So we just went into the game, ready to run the ball. And as our coaches say, like those 2, 3, 4 yard runs early in the game, later in the game they get worn down and they become 10, 15, maybe break one. So it was just trusting, the play calling, trusting the holes, and eventually they're gonna pop. So.
Can you break down what you saw on that 45-yard touchdown run and that tied the game at the touch? Just how big was that at that time?
Yeah, so we were going pretty fast, and then we got back, and I remember I got the ball, and when I got the ball, Cam just yelled, "Get it!" because it was fourth down, wasn't it?
It was third
and one, yeah. So he yelled, "Get it!" and then just followed the read and made a cut off a block and pretty much wide open. So.
Cam, you've had a front row seat to watch your guys' offense finish so strong in a lot of games this season. Being at the controls of it, what was it like to sort of feel the momentum build like it did in the second half?
It was exciting. I have a pretty good role model ahead of me. Dalton's a hell of a player. And then, like I said, everyone around me just stepped up and really made it easy for me to get in there and just kind of operate. Our run game really turned on for us, and it was good to see for sure.
Jesse, on the other side of the ball, you guys were able to stifle their run game pretty good. What did you do well, and how were you guys able to hold their run game in check?
That's kind of been a point of emphasis all weekend. just in this program, being able to stop the run. Our offense has been doing a great job of running the ball. So we know on defense we need to stop the run. And Eastern has a very high-powered offense. So once we got the run stopped, they started spreading it out a little bit. We knew we needed to get after the quarterback and cover downfield, which we did a good job of.
In that second half, you guys only allowed 134 total yards to Eastern. What did you guys kind of change or alter a little bit from the first half to the second half?
Not a lot, honestly. I feel like just got after the quarterback a little more, got pressure on him, makes it harder for him to make throws, and adjusted a little bit, but they didn't really change a whole lot from the first half to the second half, and we didn't either. We just got after him more.
Down the stretch here, you see on third down some of the young guys coming in, like Missoula, Jacob McGoy. So, what are your thoughts as an older guy watching those guys that come in and contribute much in the passing game?
It's awesome to see. I mean, it feels like yesterday when I was a young guy looking for playing time, and those are kids with a lot of talent that are going to be the next big guys here at this program. So it's awesome to see them getting in there.
Just coming after a loss, and then obviously some storylines with you. Going against Jace and getting the first win against Eastern in your career. I guess how good does it make the win feel?
I mean, any win's a good win, and that was a big one, for our team, for our program, and for this college. So, going against Jace, kid I played with in high school and stuff, was a cool opportunity. But we were just happy to get the win as a team.
Bobby, in the fourth quarter, being able to seal the win by handing the ball off to Nick Osmo, what did you think of his ability to take care of it and get you the tough yards when you needed?
Yeah, well, he was in there for a reason. But we'll forgive the guy to my right for that. Nick did a nice job. Our backs are running hard. Marcus ran hard. Nick ran hard. A lot of yards after contact. They were breaking tackles. Front was pushing it. Kind of like Jesse said about the young D linemen. With the young guys that we have going right now, I think the future's bright.
Jesse mentioned how important it was to put pressure on the quarterback. You got sacked Barry 3 times. He's the hardest guy in the league to sack, probably. So, how are you able to get to him, and what did you think? How important was that?
Well, we didn't blitz him much. That was something somebody asked about halftime. We didn't pressure him a ton. We did a little bit, but mostly it was 4-man pressure, and we covered long enough. And then these guys won up front, and when Jesse had, he kept working and ended up beating the offensive lineman. And, it's just a matter of good blend, good mix, keep them guessing so we can't get rid of it quick, which I think we did.
Cam, a week ago, or a few weeks ago, I talked to you about what it was like being the Dalton's team, talking and what you saw kind of off the field about what you saw. But what's it like switching roles and being able to kind of have him be a mentor for you while you're playing?
Like I said, he's been a role model for me for the last year and a half or so. He's kind of worked me through, and I've helped him as well from the sideline. So it was pretty easy to be able to switch roles, and he took it upon him to help me out and relay what he was seeing from the sideline to me, and it ended up working pretty well. So
You had a run where you could have gone out of bounds. Said you lower the shoulder on the defense back. That Dalton rubbed it off on you a little bit there.
Maybe a little bit. I mean, Coach Hauck Barry's and us not to run out of bounds, and I had ran out of bounds earlier in the year and heard about it. So
Maybe today you could have.
Yeah, I probably could have. I don't know. I was just fired up. I'm just fired up to play for this team. There's a lot of great guys around me, so I needed to show that I can do something too. So, yeah.
Anybody else? Thanks, everybody.
All right, go Griz.
Thanks, Griz.
Nobody said there's no nobody said it necessary.
What were some of the biggest differences you saw for the second half today with your offense?
Was that right?
What were some of the biggest differences you saw with your offense in the first and second half?
Well, you tell me. We didn't score points in the second half. Scored 14 in the first and 3 in the second.
But I mean, just scheme-wise, like, why is Eric not running as much?
I don't, if I had the why, I'd be in a different job, and we're gonna have to look at a few things. And I wouldn't call him off. I think he had a few drops that were thrown pretty well. Guys do make mistakes. They are human. Unfortunately, that's kind of, even though we're coaches and players, we're still human. These guys are going to make mistakes. Hopefully we minimize those. We didn't play as fluid as we thought we were going to play. It's a good outfit. I mean, they're a good outfit in a tough environment with those guys coming off a loss. Obviously, we played really well in the first half, and so everyone wants to scrutinize the negative. How about scrutinizing the positive? These guys played their ass off in the first half, played their ass off in the second half, didn't score enough points to end the game against a good football team coached by Coach Hauck and company, and they held Silver home.
The field position battle, how impactful do you think that was?
Oh, second half was immense, Coulter. I mean, second half, I think the defense got the ball minus, or the plus side of the 50, I think 3 times. Once on kickoff return. And again, when you compound yourself giving up a touchdown with a kickoff return muffed, and they recover the ball, I think it's at the 25-yard line, that's a recipe for near disaster. And when they capitalize on those things, when they score back-to-back, and you don't possess the ball in any situation, much like a block punt, it's extremely difficult. So put our defense in a bind a little bit, not just from an offensive 3 or 4 out and 5 out perspective, but also from special teams. And again, it just seems to be kind of a weird theme this year. For 30 minutes we play really, really well, and for 30 minutes we don't play really, really well at all. So it's on me. I got to find some of the magic that Ryan Collingwood wants. So I'll keep searching for that stuff, but I don't have all the answers. I don't. I make decisions based on what I see and the thoroughness and the best interest of these student athletes that are around. But we didn't make enough plays, and they made more.
What made it difficult for you guys to move the ball on 3rd down in particular today?
Well, I think a few of them, I don't know what they were, Brennan, but I think we were 3rd and 7 plus. I would imagine probably 8 or 9 of the 15 times, I'm guessing. I don't know for sure because I get these stats right before I walk in. So that's a tough answer for me. 4 of 15 is not great. 1 of 4 on 4th downs. Even about as the same percentage. The crowd plays a factor in 3rd downs, especially when it is longer distances. But I'll tell you, I've been able to play here a few times, coach here a lot of times. I will say our protection was actually pretty good from the ground floor. So the chaos that usually ensues with 3rd down and longs, I think, was picked up for the most part. I know they got to Eric a few times. We'll have to see if guys were open or guys weren't open, or we just didn't, go through a progression or reads. But I don't think that was as much of an issue today as it's been in the past in terms of those 3rd downs. But productivity was not our friend on 3rd down, that's for sure, when you're talking 4 or 15.
How would you maybe describe how Montana's offense is a little bit different with, Snead not in there, and obviously maybe run the ball a little bit more?
Yeah, and I think the personnel's, obviously in the first half they got 13 personnel, a lot. And it's interesting because I told Coach Hauck that at the beginning of the game. He goes, well, what did I do to you to get after you? So the same thing you're going to do to us this game. So they came out 13 personnel. Coach Roosevelt had a plan to get 13. And for the most part, until the game got out of hand late, they were out of 13 personnel in the second half. So it's a testament to these guys on defense that they got them out of something that they thought they could lean on and do for a longer period of time. Giving up 10 points probably frustrated them a bit. And they made adjustments to get out of the 13 personnel and allow Cam to kind of play a little bit freer, get the balls to their guys outside, run a little fly sweep with Jerry Louis McGee, and they just made more plays. And again, it goes to show you they're 60% on 3rd down, which is part of that because of the 13 personnel is getting you in 3rd and shorter distances rather than 3rd and longer distances. So that's obviously, I would say, a concern, but something that we need to address for sure.
How do you think this loss impacts your chance of making the playoffs?
I haven't mentioned, I don't think, the P word at all in this year, last year. I think that's for you folks that tweet about it, that talk about it, and then it gets to the players. I think that's a scary word. I think because we've been accustomed to being in those situations more often than not, I think it's almost deemed a failure if and when you're teeter-tottering that non-playoff or maybe playoff diving board. And I'll be honest with you, it's great to have that pressure. We don't mind the pressure. We actually bring the pressure on, but we don't play the game to go to the playoffs. We play the game to have fun, to create relationships, to build bonds that are going to be further along than the playoffs. Those are just memories that we've made. So at this point, Brenna, I just the playoffs haven't been on my tongue since August, really since January, since we got out of the playoffs. That's not why we do this. We play to win, obviously. We didn't do that today, but the furthest thing from our mind is where we are in the playoff picture.
What was the toughest part of trying to slow down Montana's ground game?
Well, I think when you get 13 personnel, they lean on you a little bit. And Coach Hauck and company, that's kind of what they were known for first time around, as far as getting in heavier personnels, to be able to get in, 2nd and 7s and 3rd and 3s and 4s, to be able to have some more than just drop back pass in it. I think our guys did a decent job. I don't think we wrapped up really well at times. I think guys got loose on us a bit. I think we contained them for the most part, but again, most part when it's 3rd down, they move the sticks because you don't tackle well. The long touchdown run by Knight was we had 2 backers in place, and no one got a hand on them. So says the video board. So it wasn't because we were out of place. It was because we weren't finishing things at times. But testament to that offensive line. Those guys running hard behind 5 offensive linemen and 3 tight ends to boot.
You said that. Can you talk about that element of it when Montana went with the 3 tight ends and how hard, or I guess, what are the challenges of slowing it down when you go like that?
It's not necessarily a challenge. It's just a matter of making sure that we get our backers to scrape over to be able to fit that. As since I was put in that situation a lot, I was setting the edge, which makes Knight cut back, and when he was cutting back, it's just when we get the backers to scrape over a little faster, it just allows him to get a few more yards than what he deserves. So that's something that it wasn't really, I wouldn't consider like a huge challenge for us. I would just consider it as something that we need to go and polish up a little bit, because we have the right calls, we have the right plays for that specific personnel grouping. It's just a matter of we got to get over there a little faster to be able to make that play. So,
Coach, you said that you use football as a way to build relationships. How are you going to use this loss to help do that in the future?
The loss doesn't necessarily build a relationship. The loss really kind of defines who you are as a person. When you get off the campus, that's the real true. It's easy when you win. I mean, no one gripes, no one moans. Everybody wants to know or poke the bear when it's not perfect, just like life. I mean, this is the most paralleled sport to life, is the game of football. And I'm not going to argue with anybody about that. I'm passionate about that. So this is part of a failure that was something we envisioned, something different that didn't work out the way we envisioned it. So what do you do from there? And that's what we're going to find out next week. We're after our 3rd Big Sky win, our 4th on the year. That's got to be on our mind the entire week. But when you talk about bonds, I mean, I want to bond with somebody that's going through the same emotions as I am. And it's easier when it's all gravy, when it's all good, when there's no adversity. Fights are easy when they don't have any turbulence. The ones that are one of these, those are the ones you remember. These are the bonds you remember. Okay, and so that's why I talk about bonds as far as friendships, leaning on guys. Tears matter. Tears mean you care. There's good and bad, as far as wins and losses. And so this is a special bunch. They always will be. We've got a different DNA in Cheney. We have for a long time. We're not the most talented team probably ever, but we get the most out of our talent consistently. So, and I've seen that for a long time now.
How prepared were you guys to see Cam Humphrey, and just what were your main takeaways from going up against him?
I expected to see Dalton, but then when I didn't see him pregame, then I thought there was a high possibility that he wouldn't show for the game. But I don't think they changed, other than leaning on the 13 personnel a bit more in the first half. I don't think that there was a big change, other than him not probably running the ball. He scrambled a few times on that 3rd down late out of the heavy personnel. They dropped back 20-29, very efficient, 176 yards. Tested us deep a few times, a few back shoulders, a few drops on their end, but I thought he played a more than consistent game, given the number of reps he had going into the game. And but they didn't put him in too many precarious situations, and that was probably the idea, knowing Dalton wasn't going to go, I imagine.
Andrew, what can you say about the offense? There were times when you were really breaking free, making some pretty good plays, and the offense was buzzing, and there were times where they weren't. Could you point to anything? Like, was it maybe Montana playing really well on defense? Maybe you guys did change it up a little bit?
Yeah, I think the main thing, like Coach said, is just finding a consistency, finding a consistent balance. I mean, I'm still in strong belief that when we are going, when everything's firing as it's supposed to be, that there's no one that can stop us in this country offensively. But until we find that chemistry within the receivers, quarterback, a running game, and O-line, that leaves us vulnerable to being stopped like this. So, towards the future, we just got to get back to finding that consistency. And once we do, I think that's when we'll see a turn.
Now that you guys have had more losses than you were expecting to have coming into the season, what do you want the mentality of both the offensive core and the team overall to be for the rest of the season?
Basically, at the end of the day, just let that pain change you. I've always kind of held on to that saying, because at the end of the day, it sucks to lose a game like this, but life goes on. At the end of the day, what are we going to do next time? I'm gonna come back next week better than I was this week. Type of mindset.
Dehonta, you're a senior. Just with every